pointed to Dallas and Paige when you were with them. You thought, wow, look at this. I've been in their home multiple times, and everything in their home was gluten-free, sugar-free. She's making these pasta, amazing food, and you're thinking, wow. And one of their Christmas parties, I wanted to bring these cute little mice that I make, edible mice. And they said, well, sure, as long as you can make them sugar-free. I'm like, hey, I'll figure this out. But they are so, the reason they are such a great example for us is they actually completely live what they teach.
Yeah.
They live
true.
it. I love that.
It's true.
You and Amy as well. You're taking every bit of it to another level, that when you're sharing stuff, it's because you've already overcome it. And it's powerful. Powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. So two things about that. So one is, I want to tell people that don't become discouraged, because it does take time. This is my 5th year anniversary at DDPY. I'm at just over 5 years. And like I said, I lost a lot of weight initially. Then I put most of it, like 3/4 of it, back on. Then I stopped myself. Then I had that diagnosis, and then the thing, right? And then I had that epiphany, and then I'm like, that's it. I was like, I had that wake up call. And but anyway, so the first thing is, give yourself some time.
Yes.
It took you over 55 years to get here. It took you a long time of behavior to get here. It's going to take, it took me 3 months before I noticed like my body finally starting to let go from the alcohol. I mean, that was my biggest thing. But like, let's just say that you switch your diet right now to say, I'm just going to eat more organic. I'm not going to eat as much processed food. I'm just going to make that little bit right there, right? I'm going to start adding vegetables to my diet and water, and you're going to start feeling better. You're going to start sleeping a little bit better. And you're going to start making little changes, and then you're going to start feeling better. And then you're going to slip back, and you're going to fall down. You're going to mess up, and you're going to feel like shit. And you're going to put some weight back on. Then you're going to beat yourself up a little bit, but you got to get out of your head. You can't let yourself get depressed. You got to be like, that's what I talked about in the other show that we just recorded, is that you got to have that resolve and saying, I know eventually I'm going to have rough days, and I might trip, I might stumble, I might fall down, I might go out on a night and have a crazy night and eat all kinds of crazy shit. If you have a disaster, you wake up the next day and be like, oh, Jesus, I wish I hadn't done that. But then just get back on track.
Yeah.
Don't keep living about thinking about last night. Just be like, oh my gosh, I can't be. Don't do, but just get back in the game. Get back in. Be like a football player. You got hurt. You twisted your ankle, your knee, or you tweaked something. They took you out for a play or two, and you're watching your team run up and down the field. Now you feel like shit. All right, get back in the game. So just get back in the game, right? And then the second part that you had mentioned, the part was like living it. So yeah, Dallas and Paige live it. Amy and I now live it, and it truly becomes like you. It becomes a conviction. It just becomes. I just don't eat that anymore. I just eat this more. I just don't eat that anymore. I just add more of this now. So it just became a thing. Like, I just don't eat that shit anymore. Or like, I cut like 90% of it out of my diet. Like, I think maybe one day, the other day, I think I had a turkey sandwich, and I think that was the first gluten I had in 6 months. I'm telling you, like 5.5 months to be exact. First piece of gluten I had. And guess what? It didn't destroy me. My body didn't, but I'm not going to eat it every day. I'm not going to do that.
Get that night thing, though. I don't think we ever say enough about those nighttime hours. That was where I knew I had to break it. So I gave myself a time, and I would shut the timer, click the timer, and like, okay, I'm not going to eat anything more. And at that time, my mom was still alive. She passed away this December, but she would start making popcorn, and you'd be smelling it in the house, and she'd come and like, here, I have popcorn, buttered pop. I'm like, I closed my window, Mom. So go ahead and keep that for me for tomorrow, because I knew if I really needed a little of it, I would have it in the morning. And if I didn't want any of it, I would throw it away. But so it wasn't no, it was later, right? And then I put it to a no. I interviewed the other day, Michael Canistro, and he said he's on his 15th week with DDPY. he used to eat big bowls of ice cream, like big bowls, like salad bowls full of ice cream and stuff. Now,
Yeah.
now when he really feels the need, he just gets a little ice cream, something on his
Right.
and he said, I know
Right.
good for me because it's, sugar and dairy. But he said, I'm making those changes over the 15 weeks. That's what you're
Right.
talking about. Just the
Right.
start, just start and not go
Right.
back.
Right. Right. Yeah. So, I mean, I've tried it all. I'm 62 years old. I mean, I tried so many different things. I tried the drastic approach, when it came to diet, but I find that aside from alcohol, that was the only thing that I could do cold turkey. But that had to be for me, because that was literally poison. But as far as the diet thing, that I'm like right now, the way I'm living my life is, uh, I know I'm not saying that. Like never, I'm never gonna have a piece of gluten again. Like I know that I'm probably gonna have a sandwich, maybe, but honestly, so put it this way: my level of dedication, Amy's in my level of dedication. We were we no, advice: eat at home,
Yeah.
eat at home, because you don't know what shit they're putting in your food. That's the
Oh,
number one thing. So for 3.5 months, Amy and I ate at home for 3.5 months. In January, when we went out for our first cheat meal, and guess what we ordered? A salad. So
yeah.
seriously. Then the second time we went out, and it was in later January, our second time we ever went out again, and we had another salad. Swear to God, we got protein on it. Then the third time we went out, I went out and I got me a nice big thick steak, because I still eat steak and protein. It's like, eat real food. So I got a big steak, and I got myself a bunch of steamed vegetables, and I told them no butter on the veggies, right? Because they douse it in butter, you know. So yeah, so I just do a little bit of a lemon, squeeze some lemon instead of salt. It's a
Yeah.
bodybuilder trick: Tabasco sauce or lemon juice. Yeah, nice little substitute for sodium. And then as far as sodium goes, go to that switch over to the sea salt,
Oh,
the
yeah.
uh, the pink Himalayan sea salt, the organic. Yeah. So think of the stuff that you put in your body a little bit every day, whether it's the sauces or it's those little things. It's those little bit of foods that you keep putting in your body. If a tiny little pill that you put in your body every day has an effect on your metabolism, even what about a bowl of food that you always eat, right? You That's that constant. So that constant thing, do the same thing with like adding. So I add a protein shake. So for breakfast now, I'll also do, sometimes I'll skip a whole food breakfast and I'll do a protein shake for breakfast. And then about an hour later, I'll do like some Metamucil or a fiber drink. So it gives you that feeling of fullness. And then you drink some more water after that, you feel full. But yeah, about an hour and a half, 2 hours later, you're hungry again. Good. Have breakfast, have a couple of scrambled eggs, have some protein, 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 protein.
Protein keeps us
Protein, protein, protein.
not as hungry. When we keep our protein level up, you won't be as hungry. You also have more energy, right? Yeah, cool. You're amazing.
100%.
My word. So it took me forever to get you to our calendars to agree on a time, but I will definitely beg you back again, because as soon as people hear all of these nuggets, Scott, you know what they're going to be asking me, right? When's that
Let's do.
French coming back? So
I'm told, Pam, I'm totally open to doing a regular weekly show or regular monthly show or whatever. If you want to have me on regularly, I'd be happy to talk about this, because I'm still studying. I am a perpetual student. So not only am I a martial artist, but I'm also studying nutritionist. I'm also studying philosophy. I study a lot of things. As you can see behind me, all my martial arts stuff, right? I've been studying this stuff since the 1970s, right? So people just think of me oftentimes as just a broken soldier that they met 5 years ago with DDPY. But DDPY is the program that resurrected me to be back into my best self, to allow Pam to rebuild herself to be your best self. And all of you who are watching right now in this 55 plus group, this program will change your life if you stick with it. Remember, no major decisions at night. Nighttime is always the hardest time, when the world seems the gloomiest and you seem defeated because you're tired. Wake up, go to sleep, wake up the next day. You're going to feel a lot better. You'll have your motivation back. If you screwed up your diet the day before, let it go. It was the day before. It's history. You got today. You got today. And just keep doing that over and over. Just keep doing that over and over. You'll start tripping, stumbling, and falling a lot less often. You'll catch your wind like when you used to run when you were a kid in school. When you catch that second breath, you're like, oh, I'm not dying for breath anymore. I can continue to run. So you catch your second breath, right? Same thing with DDP yoga.
Yeah, inch by inch, they'll notice the difference. You know, I couldn't walk when I started on January 20th of 2022. I couldn't walk. My
Oh
knees
my God.
were so damaged. And within a very short time, my walking started, everything started healing. I'll never forget the day I sat with my mom at a doctor's appointment and I looked down and my legs were crossed like a normal woman crosses her legs. And I looked down, it was an out of body experience. But I lost 80 pounds and 77 inches in 10 months, right? And I'm looking down and my legs are crossed. I'm like, whose legs are crossed? And my mom even noticed it. 95 years old. She looked over, she goes, your legs are crossed. I'm like, I know, this is the weirdest thing. And that's what we get, all those strange victories happen just by,
Yes.
by staying on game with these changes.
Yes. Pam, I taught a class today. I teach 2 classes a week at the American Legion, and I've got I have people in my class. I got people, young people, but I got people like in their 80s and 90s. I got Korean War veterans. I got a guy in World War II in some of my classes. But I have people in their 70s, 80s that have hip replacements, knee replacements, people recovering from stroke, cancer. I mean, you name it. I've got people in my class, and where was I going to go with that? Jiminy crickets. Oh, so we're talking about quality of life. So that's the thing. It's like these non-scale victories, we call them. I call it functional fitness. These classes, this program is functional fitness, so that you can have a quality of life. So that you can pick up your grandbaby, so that you can pick up the groceries or a sack of potatoes, or so you can bend over to tie your shoes. Oh my God, I had guys in my class that couldn't tie their shoes.
I couldn't.
And so I created a stretch called Tie Your Shoes. Yeah. And me and Dallas and I, when we were putting together some of the chair program, we're out there in Atlanta, we were doing like Dallas. So we have some moves that aren't even that we recorded that aren't even on the app yet. But this is all about the quality of life. So at 55 plus, health, our muscle health, our bone health is related. You can't have strong bones if you don't have strong muscles, and you can't get strong muscles if you don't have protein. And then once you get those, it's not going to do you any good if you don't have any balance. So no slips and falls in the shower. We don't want any slips and falls in the shower. That's why when you do the rebuild classes, you work on balance, right? No slips and falls. And God forbid, should you slip and fall, hopefully you have enough, your bones and your muscles are strong enough that you can recover from it. And hopefully you can get so I have some people in my chair class that we're going to have to put together a special class for them to teach them how to get up off the floor.
Yes. Yeah.
Because she's fallen, and her girlfriends are in my class, and they're 80 years old, and she had a slip and fall, and she fell and she hurt herself. And so today, she showed up with her girlfriends, and they're 80 years old. Oh, yeah. And she's with their girlfriends. And so we were talking about doing modifications in the class, and the subject came up because I jokingly said, if you fall out of your chair, you got to do push-ups while you're down there on the ground. I said, don't fall out of your chair. You got to do push-ups. And they looked at me and they were like, I'm not, they looked at me and they're like, and I said, I'm just kidding. She goes, no. She was like, I'm worried about falling. And we had the conversation. And I was like, oh my goodness. So think about that. As we age, hold on to your balance, hold on to your bone health, your muscle health. Now, the problem with a lot of older people for lack of protein is teeth. They can't chew on the meat. They can't get that protein. So dental health, right? So you find a lot of people who have bad dental health, they usually have a hard time eating nutritious foods because they can't break it down. if the vegetables too fibrous, right? So they wind up eating adult baby food. Yeah. They wind up eating Gerber baby food practically, right? So we want to avoid that, you know. So all of our health, our dental health is very important. If you're elderly, you have dental health issues, go see your dentist and get yourself technology nowadays. I have a couple of implants that I had my teeth, I had my molars pulled out when I was in the Army. I was in the field. I was the guy put his foot on my forehead and took pliers and yanked my teeth out. So I'm like, just like 5 years ago, I got, or 6, 8 years ago, I got some implants put in. Now I can tear up some steak. So take care of your dental health, get your protein, whether you realize it or not, your DDP yoga program is muscle building, it is weight resistance training, because you're using your body weight. So if you're getting the protein, you're going to get a little more muscle, and that's going to burn a little more fat. You're going to turn your body into a little fat burning machine. How's that?
Exactly. That green zone, I don't know why everybody just doesn't chase it down. Oh my God.
Yeah. Heck with the red zone. You don't need the red zone. I mean, you can do the red zone once in a while for your cardio. Cardio is good. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. Cardio is good for you.
Oh yeah.
But if you want to be consistently, get yourself into that fat burning zone, stay in that green zone. But guess what? Consistency over time. Hey, I want to talk consistency. When people fall off and they're like, oh, I fell off, I missed a week. Well, guess what? After 5 years I've been doing this, right? I look back over all my workouts. I went back like years and years and years ago. I look back, oh, I missed 4 days here. Well, back then I'm like, oh my God, I missed 4 days. It was a big emotional thing. I had a meltdown. Oh my God, 4 days. Now I look back out 5 years, I look back over it, it was a blip in time. Yeah. So the moral of the story is get back up on your horse.
Exactly.
It's only gonna be a blip in time, right? You're gonna look back on it. So if you missed a week, if you missed a month, so what? Make it become a blip in time by consistency. So when you look back over it, you'd be like, oh man, I missed a month back then, but look, I got 2 years behind me now, or I got 6 months behind me now, or I got 8 months, or I got 7 months.
That consistency changes how you feel. So you reach a spot that, wow, this does actually feel so good. I do not want to miss this, right? I mean,
your mindset is like a muscle. And I tell people this, you know, like about building your mindset muscle. The more you flex your muscle, the stronger it gets. The more you flex your mindset muscle, the stronger your mind gets. Like, how do you do that? Well, you do that by saying, I'm going to push half of that plate of food back. I'm going to serve it, and then I'm going to put half of it back. That's a flex. That's a flex. You flexed your mindset right there. All right. Or it's like, I don't feel like working out today, but screw it. Maybe instead of doing a 40-minute, ass kicker, I'm going to do a 20-minute breathing exercise, because you keep your mind in the game, right? That's a flex. That's a mind flex right there. That's building your mindset, right? Flex that mental muscle. Don't do the opposite. I'll beat yourself up. Oh my God. Because let me tell you what, your body feels that. When you beat yourself up and you tell yourself you suck and you failed and why start, I'm just going to fail anyway, your body feels that. And because your body secretes those hormones. It's real. Your body secretes those negative hormones into your body. I can name the chemicals, but it doesn't matter the names of the chemicals. Your inflammation goes up. Your metabolism gets fucked up. Everything gets messed up, right? Just the opposite happens when you are happy. When you smile, even if you're not happy and your mom says, smile, your face is going to freeze that way, it's true. Because when you smile, your body has a biomechanical physical response and you release different chemicals in your body. So when you're happy and when you're doing good stuff, and especially when you're laughing, that's why on my Tiger Battalion page, I'm always talking about humor therapy. I use humor therapy because the more you laugh, the more you giggle and grin, the more serotonin, the more beneficial chemical cascade that you get in your body, it's good for you. So feel good about yourself. Praise yourself for your victories.
Exactly.
Don't be like, I screwed up on dinner last night. Be like, guess what? I was good on breakfast this morning, right?
That's exactly where everybody that I coach, I try to get them. Okay, so that wasn't right. What were the good things? What can we as your non-scale victories last week, because there's always something to point to that you can say, well, I did do that right, right? So it is. I am like you though. I chase joy. The second I wake up every morning, I just chase joy. I know it's going to be somewhere. I'm going to find it. I'm going to walk and live it. And as soon as
It's so important. So, I mean, like, I don't know how much time we have left, but I talk about mindset. I talk about the attitude of gratitude 30-day challenge. Dallas, in his book, Positively Unstoppable, on page 68, page 69, and on page 121, he talks about the attitude of gratitude. Right, exactly. Right. He talks about, there's chapters on the attitude of gratitude. And it's also a mindset mental tool. If you have depression, you got anxiety, or you find yourself dealing with now, sadness is real. Sometimes you lose somebody. I lost my mom too. I lost my sister in a head-on collision. I mean, these last few years have been crazy for me, right? So you can get consumed in sadness. You can get consumed in depression. I was diagnosed. I was in a 3-year.
at our age, maybe more so because we start to know more and more people that have left us, or more and more people with issues of health at our age. Yeah.
Yes. So if you study human psychology, I told you I study human psychology too. So I study human psychology. And so people at our age, we're going through a stage right now, often, not all of us, but many people typically at this stage in life have regrets.
Yeah.
And so the regret stage at this point in life, it's very common amongst a lot of people. You look back and you reflect upon your life, and then oftentimes we get consumed in guilt, we get consumed in regret, we get consumed in failure, and we proceed to beat ourselves up better than Chuck Norris could beat us up. And so and so it's a very real thing, and that's why a lot of people, especially men, when they die, or when they retire at
Yes.
mid 60s, a couple of years later, they die, no purpose, regret, sadness, all this stuff, right? So that's why having a purpose. If you look at like mental health, and you look at all the different mental health charts and stuff, there's different aspects to it that you want to achieve, like belonging to community.
Yeah.
DDPY, it's a great community, right? Having a purpose. If
Oh,
some people like my family, my kids, my grandkids, it's my purpose. Okay, good. Make that your purpose. I encourage you, make you your purpose. Make you your health. Your purpose, and feel good, look good, be better helping your family, right? So at this point in our life, stages in our life, are looking back on life. So listen, you have had, if you're watching the show right now, you have 55 plus years, or you wouldn't belong here.
exactly.
You have 55, you have wisdom. You're 55 plus. You have knowledge. The difference between knowledge and wisdom: knowledge is informational knowledge. Anybody can acquire knowledge. Wisdom is the application of that knowledge.
Exactly.
So you have a lot of people who have a lot of knowledge, but they still run their head against the wall. They're not smart. They're not applying that wisdom. So wisdom says, hey, I've been down that path before, or I've learned this and I know this, so I'm going to apply that knowledge, right? So that's what we're going to do, with our life and with our health and with this. So you're learning, you're 55 plus, you have a lot of knowledge. Now you're going to learn to apply it. And so I've been teaching martial arts almost my whole life. I'm a 4th degree black belt. I tell my students, I am a professional student.
Yes.
Be a professional student. Don't ever consider yourself as the know-it-all. I am not a know-it-all. I don't know everything, but I'm a perpetual student, and I will share with you what I'm learning. I'll point you in the direction from the shit that I'm learning from, right? The Socratic method. We all learn together. And so that's what this is about. So, you have innate experience and wisdom. Apply that knowledge that you have. Be open to continuing to learn. You don't know everything, or you wouldn't be in the situation you're in now, looking at how to get out of this shit. so be willing to learn, and be willing to say, I might have to make some changes. Like the stuff I like eating, I'm gonna have to learn. And what I recommend that you do, see, like pizza used to be my favorite food, and I'd see it on TV and my mouth would start watering. You know, like the Pavlov, Dr. Pavlov, the Pavlovian response: ring the bell, the dog salivates, right? He's gonna get fed.
Exactly.
Then they don't bring any food, they ring the bell, the dog salivates anyway. It's that response. The
Commercial
commercials, they know how to make that TV commercial with that cheese look so good. I would start drooling. But you know what I did? Knowledge. So I went on YouTube and I started Googling or YouTubing this information. I started learning that ooey gooey cheese that looks so good is one molecule away from hardening plastic in your arteries. And then I look at that shit and I'm like, that's the gooey shit I'm trying to get out of my belly.
Yeah. So you framed it completely different in your mind, right?
Right. Right.
Powerful.
Right.
Honestly, for Wellness Wednesday, if they haven't figured out now, we can conquer this thing. They've completely missed all that you've taught. And really, my whole thing, I always say, I arrived teachable and motivated. That's the day I arrived here with DDPY. I was just teachable, like you're talking. Motivated, I just mean it has to come from within you. No one else is going to do the discipline. So that's the discipline factor. But you have to be teachable, or you're never going to keep going. Like you're saying, you just keep learning more and more things, Scott. It's powerful, the journey you're still on. And
it's been 5 years. It's taken 5 years. And I don't want anybody to think that, you know, like, because here's how many times, Pam, do you hear people say, how much weight did you lose? How long did it take?
I know.
That's always the number. How much did you lose? How long did it take?
Yeah.
Well, my dear, it took you 50 years to get that, to get 60 pounds or 50 pounds or 40 or 30 or whatever. It took, you know, but it just goes to show human nature, you know, and so that's why I just want to talk to people and just give yourself time. Yeah. Give yourself time.
Right.
Be compassionate with yourself.
Yes.
Here's what I tell some of my people who deal with, like, they beat themselves up too much, is if I came to you and I asked you for forgiveness, if I came to you and I said, I really messed up, will you please forgive me? I guarantee you most everybody would embrace you and say, yes, I'm going to forgive you. Of course I'm going to forgive you. Give yourself that same grace.
The one in the mirror. You gotta give it to the one in the mirror. Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody can beat you up. Not even your own worst enemy can beat you up as bad as you can beat yourself up. And don't do it to yourself. You know you messed up. Don't live in it. Don't wallow in it. And don't be, just don't give up. You know, you see me always posting all my hashtags, don't give up, don't give up. Because when people, like, they associate me with the tiger, because I'm always the tiger this, the tiger that, because it's one of the martial art animals, because they're fierce and they just don't stop, or they don't eat. Right? So, one track mind, kill it, eat it. My to-do list, wake up, kill it, eat it. You know, so that's my to-do list. Basically, like, that's my mindset. I wake up every day and I'm like, this is what my goal. I'm gonna kill it and I'm gonna eat it. Whatever it is, maybe it's nutrition today, maybe it's exercise today, maybe it's a book I'm studying today. Those are the three things. To feel engaged. If you can't work out every day because you're building yourself up, well, do the breathing exercise on the app. I tell people, and I always get animated at this part, I say, you can breathe, can't you?
Exactly.
There's a workout. There's an exercise on the app. It's not a workout. It's an exercise. I think it's 8 minutes, and it's called breathing.
Yeah,
breathing. So you can tell yourself, you can do a breathing. Don't call it a workout. I call it a workout sometimes, but it's an exercise. It's a breathing exercise, but it keeps you engaged. So you're starting up, you're putting on your heart rate monitor, you're starting up your app, you're laying there with your hands on your belly, you're laying there and you're freaking breathing, but you're engaged because you're pressing play on your DDPY app. When you're done with it, you're feeling good because you were mentally engaged.
Yes, exactly. Oh my word. Oh my word. Well, Scott, I cannot thank you enough, sweet one. If they take a gazillion notes out of just this one Wellness Wednesday. I don't even know how they'll take as many notes as you get. You went
Oh,
everywhere with this thing. You robbed every excuse that's out there for this pillar. I'm telling you, Scott. I
uh,
cannot thank
you
you.
know,
And I do want to thank you as well for your service and how you as well reach out to all the veterans. You do all those free gratis things for our veterans. I see that all the time. People, you need to follow him. He's making a difference in our community, but really all kinds of communities. So
yeah,
thank
thank you. I appreciate you so much. You're a wonderful inspiration. And you know what? I think you and I are very similar. It's not just like we'll help anybody, really. I mean, I focus on veterans because I was a broken veteran and I was going to the VA hospital and I saw how a lot of veterans were neglected. And so that was kind of my focus because it was my brothers and sisters. But the reality is, anybody who walks into my life, anybody who walks into my dojo, anybody who walks into my DDPY classes, anybody who comes to my Tiger Battalion page or friends me on Facebook, or anybody who walks into my life, uh, you know, I try to help. You know, one of the best things. Here's the third piece of advice I want to give on the mindset part: is if you really want to help yourself, help someone else.
that's
Help someone else.
exactly what I live by. 100%.
Help someone else.
That is a
Yeah.
powerful ending right there.
Mm,
Stuff.
mm.
That's
Help somebody.
yeah, that's
Mhm.
what you look past everything going on. To do that,
Yeah,
get to that level. So, well,
yeah.
bless. Go ahead and give Amy a hug for me because I didn't get to see her on this recording, but you'll give her a hug for me, right?
I will. I will. We love you.
Love you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for everything.